will live in a just and fair society that is guided by genuine rule of law and the administration of justice.
This is clearly the government using a law to stifle dissent. We won't argue with you, we'll just shut you up, and this shows our power, this shows our vitality, this shows that we are still the defenders of the Malay race, all that kind of political rubbish.
At a recent rally in the Malaysian capital Kuala Lumpur, several hundred lawyers, activists and students turned up to protest against the Sedition Act. The colonial-era law criminalizes speech against the government, the judiciary, and the royal family. The rising frustration with the Sedition Act comes as Malaysia has recently secured a seat at the United Nations Security Council.
It is my hope that Malaysia's selection to the UNSC will similarly unite all Malaysians.
But as the government continues to promote Malaysia as a progressive Islamic friend to the West, its actions within the country have raised concerns to human rights and free speech advocates. The Sedition Act was created almost a decade before the country's independence from the United Kingdom in 1957. It is still used in other Commonwealth countries like India and neighboring Singapore. But in Malaysia, where politics have long been divided along race and religious lines, its use has accelerated in the past 2 years. The government says that it is necessary in protecting the rights of the Malay majority, the position of the kings, and Islam. In response to critics, Prime Minister Najib Razak has on several occasions promised to repeal and replace it.
Sama ada kita nak akta keharmonian ke, ataupun kita nak kekal ke akta sedition, maka kita mesti lakukan dalam proses yang rasional. Sebab kalau kita nak ubah sesuatu akta itu, akta yang baru mesti lebih baik daripada akta yang sedia ada.
Since last year, more than 20 have been charged and more than a dozen others investigated. They consist of politicians, activists, academics, and students. Law professor Azmi Sharom is one of them.
Oh, right. Oh, all the diplomats are here. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna hang around you guys, all right? Okay? If they grab me kicking and screaming,
we have a car on standby. Stay close.
The Malaysian constitution guarantees free speech, yet the government sometimes restricts it using the Sedition Act, citing national security. Mr. Azmi was charged for speaking against a federal court decision to a news organization.
If you take their definition of sedition now, you can't criticize judicial decisions, you can't criticize the government, you can't even be rude to the government. It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
It says that existing laws.
If found guilty, he could spend up to 3 years in prison. Mr. Azmi and his lawyers are working on challenging the constitutionality of the law. Critics also claim that the government is selectively enforcing other laws to target political foes. Former Deputy Prime Minister and opposition leader Anwar Ibrahim is facing trial for sodomy, a punishable crime in Malaysia. Mr. Anwar has maintained that the case against him is politically motivated and meant to stifle dissent against the government. Mr. Najib's critics say that the sodomy trial and the Sedition Act contradicts with the image that his government is trying to project globally.
Be assured that Malaysia is committed to the rule of law, to the independence of judiciary, and to civil liberties.
They put forward a completely different face when they're speaking at the UN or when they're speaking at Davos or any sort of international gathering. But what they actually do at home is a completely different thing. And the trouble is, the world leaders buy it. They buy into this deception. You have Barack Obama saying, what a wonderful example Malaysia is. Okay, sure, fine. Compared to Saudi Arabia, compared to Syria, yes. But we're not that great. And to portray us as being this fantastic beacon is not only just feeding the ego of the rulers, but it's also inaccurate.